All right, the boss. All right, Lang. Thank you for joining the show. I appreciate both of y'all off rip, man. You know what I mean? Nome Impact. Where are we at right now? Are we over the fact that Nome is not supposed to be a double impact? Are we off that?
I got something to say. I said this every space that I was in. Okay. To the fans that said that like we're not real fans, so we don't appreciate Nome Impact, stop it, please. The outrage is not because we don't appreciate Nome Impact. Anytime you see a lot of these names on the card, is always going to be a beautiful thing, right? The issue is that like typically with the Gnome tradition, right? Gnome is usually like the first marquee like card for URL. Like let's get that out the way. Like that's where you get your big matchups. That's where you get like the up and comers a chance to battle on a large stage, give them opportunity to do that. And we just feel like this is not the time to do like another crossover. When we did Summer Impact in like 2019, that was when we already had Resolution, we already had Born Legacy 6, and we had Gnome. Those are three classic events back to back before we went into like doing the crossover type event. With URL, they only had like two outside cards, and in my opinion, the second one was good. The first one, not so much. So I feel like it was just a missed opportunity for like us to see a Player Soul go against like a perennial top tier or against another up and comer on a big stage, or like, and another thing is like we had like people like Shug, people like Goods, people like Calico saying, I'll take such and such on Nome or whatever, like Nome is around the corner just for it to be a 2-on-2 event. So I don't know. I just felt like they could have prepared us a little bit more with the Nome Impact stuff. But that's my spill on that part. So I'm done complaining because I'm gonna watch it anyway, but that's my spill on that.
The boss.
I didn't feel away. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because I was kind of just thinking in my own mind, what would Gnome be? Because I take night of main events, I take the acronym very serious. So to me, every single battle on that card should be able to headline its own big card. And me, myself, I could not think of 5 URL matchups that if you put them all on Gnome, it would signify a night of main events in the true essence of what Gnome is supposed to be. So if I couldn't come up with it, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't then be outraged about URL not being able to come up with it as well. I would have been more upset if we had a Gnome card and only 2 of the battles are truly Gnome.
Like Sugar Hollow or Good Calico, something like that?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Swamp A.Ward, Easy's gone. So, Easy has a lot of potential matchups, but we don't have them anymore. You know what I'm saying?
But to be fair, the last couple of Gnomes were like that though. To be fair. Like,
and I didn't like it.
So you didn't like Gnome 11, like at all?
That's where Danny and None happened, right?
No, that's Gnome 12. But even that one, right? Because you had that battle. You had what else you had?
That was Easy Good. That was Rock
Easy
Top.
Good. J-Rock and I'm about to say Swamp and JC. But I'm saying like even still like even in the other gnomes, right, that you mentioned, right? Like would you consider like Gnome 7 had like Rex and Shine, it had Ill Will and Briz, it had Tay-Rock and Chess, but then you also had like Mike P and Twerk opening up. You also still have, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like even if you want to take the acronym seriously, I feel like you'll get at least 3 perennial like Gnome type battles, but then you get also opportunity for up and comers to really showcase their talent. And I feel like that's kind of been their trend the past 2 or 3 years.
I give one, maybe one up and comer battle, but the other battles should be Gnome related battles. You know what I'm saying? And that's me being realistic. Again, I try not to get too involved with like the business side and the league side of things. I like to just, stay in my lane. But me trying to be realistic of battles that would be booked, I could not think of a Gnome card. I couldn't. So, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going with the, 4 to 5 battle minimum type of thing. I couldn't think of 5 night of main event battles that they could have put on this card and it actually happened. I'm not saying I can't come up with the battles. Of course I can name them, but I'm talking about that logistically makes sense as a business and what they would be able to put forth. I couldn't think of any. So when it came out that they were doing Gnome Impact, I wasn't mad at it. And then as the team names started to come out, I was more upset that we didn't see more intergenders because if y'all remember on Twitter, like the battlers was lighting our timelines up with their intergender counterparts. They had names out, flyers, and everything. So I was looking forward to seeing more of those. You know, definitely salute to Hustle for being the only lady to make the card. But I would have absolutely loved to see more of those. But I'm not mad at Nome Impact. I'm not.
All right. All right. Let's go ahead. DNA and John versus Foots and Souffle Soul. Lang, the floor is yours. So set it off.
Again, I understand. Salute to the top six. You know what I'm saying? They have the glow right now. They got the buzz and all that. But this is more about me seeing what DNA and John have done over the past like 10 plus years, especially DNA. DNA has like 5 or 6 different 2-on-2 partners. Like he's like a 2-on-2 guru. So it's like it will be very hard pressed for me to assume that DNA and John are not going to coalesce, even with John saying like, oh, DNA's doing all this, but we ain't even like get our bars
We
off
not
together
falling for
yet.
that. We not falling for
I
that.
I'm about to
saw
say,
Cap
yeah,
though.
yeah. So I like it because like they both called out Foots and Souffle not too long ago, right? And obviously we were thinking from like an individual 1v1 type situation, but 2-on-2 killed 2 birds in 1 stone. You know what I'm saying? But I will say that I do think the battle will be competitive just because the Flair and Foots have like great chemistry when they battle Chef Trez and None on the outside card, if I'm not mistaken, the first one. They
That is
showcase
good
like
chemistry.
how
They won.
yeah, and they won exactly. They won clearly at that too.
Hmm.
But I think that like there's a reason why DNA and John called them out because like again these top tiers be lining people up, man. Like they already be having a plan of attack before they even see like these guys like reach that pedestal of being in everybody's eyes. You know what I'm saying? So I think DNA and John got something special for those guys. But I do think it's gonna be a good battle. I have DNA and John winning clearly though.
Okay. Talk to me, boss.
So I think the battle absolutely makes sense. You know what I'm saying? You got the 2 shining stars from the new class, and you got our, basically, I think our 2 original PG killers. If that, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
it definitely makes sense. I might be wrong. DNA makes me eat my words quite often. So, but I got the Fleur and Foot 2-1. I do, and I'll be honest. I don't normally go against the vets. I typically err on the side of caution and going with experience and wisdom. But I don't feel like their matchup fuses together well. DNA and John. I don't know how that chemistry is going to work out. Versus I've already seen what the Fleur and Foot's chemistry looks like. You know what I mean? They have an actual friendship off of the stage, and then they've had 2-on-2 with each other before. So it's almost like kind of going with the devil. You know what I've seen actualized. I know what that can be. I'd rather err on the side of that. I got some feedback. Do y'all hear it, or is it just me?
No, I think you're good.
Okay,
No,
good.
you're good.
I think you're pretty good.
But yep. So I have them. I just think they individually they're just so skilled. But I wouldn't be flabbergasted at all if John and DNA did it. I just don't. I think John, he hasn't gotten that. For me, he hasn't given me that. I'm back battle yet.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? To where it's like DNA just had a great showing versus Casey. I had Casey going in. You know what I mean? So he made me
That
again,
first round
made
by
me eat my
DNA.
words.
Woo!
Yeah, he made me eat
Right.
my words. I thought, and Casey was really, really good. But
Mm.
yeah, DNA just had a great showing. But to me, since John has been back, I haven't gotten that. You know what I'm saying? Here I am. I'm back in my. You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
So I don't. I'm
time
not
out.
getting
Are
that
we
from
saying
him.
John's the weak link out of the 4?
I'm not saying that.
Oh,
Trying
I'm
to
not
put that
saying
on me
that.
is
I
out of
don't
pocket.
know.
Trying to put that on me is out of pocket. I think them as a team, other than the name of them both being kind of like historic gatekeepers and things like that, I don't think them as a team makes sense for me. Now, I do agree with Lang that DNA is kind of like the Shang Tsung of 2-on-2s. You know what I
Right.
mean? He just fuses in with anybody, So I definitely wholeheartedly agree with that. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I got the Fleur and Foot. I'm going with the new guys.
I can't go against the vets. And then let me piggyback. After watching DNA and John on DNA show, and the way
Yeah.
they were talking, they taking this real serious, and I'm not surprised and everything. I think DNA is not going to make them lose. No matter what happens in this battle, DNA is going to make sure they win this battle. Now I do like the continuity between Flair Soul and Footstool. Their
Mhm.
continuity is fire. That's the part that kind of worries me a little bit. Now let me ask y'all both of y'all this question. Do you think they're gonna add in other top six members into the battle? Are we gonna get an appearance from
Nah,
Hansel?
this is
Is
this
Authentic
this
gonna
is
pop
not
out?
I
this
feel
is
like
not
that
gonna
would
be
be
a
that'd be
nah
counterproductive. I don't think that would work in their favor at all. We don't want like what do we have? The
a
whole
Goon
The
team
Goonies,
a
right?
Hami
Goonies a
versus
The
Goonies and
Goonies.
Team Hami
yeah,
situation. Double
tragic,
impact
tragic.
too. Yeah, nah, nah,
Nope, I'll pass.
nah.
I hope not. If they have that in their plans and they see this video, X that,
X
start
that,
over.
X that. Okay, okay.
Nah. Am I thinking truthfully and to be honest, and this is no disrespect to anyone in the top six though. I I don't even know how receptive the crowd would be for that or whatever because you got to think like it's not a situation where like these like and like I said, no disrespect, but like I think DNA is one of the best rappers in the game.
Uh oh.
I'm about to say he froze on your end.
He froze up a little
He
bit
done
though.
turned into Elsa on
It's
us.
Elvis, right? Let's see if he comes back though. No, but I think personally speaking, though, before we get Lang back here, I think, like you said, it's gonna be kind of weird bringing those other guys out though. You know what I mean?
Especially
Real
when
weird.
they're not as known. Like no slight to them, because the top six is definitely doing their thing. But I think the ones that the masses know the most are, of course, the Fleur and Foot. So you run the risk of you never want to have a what event was that T Top came out and got booed? I think that was in Philly. Yeah.
Uh, no, that wasn't the count when he came out in Carolina. He did his boy dirty.
No. I'm not talking about what he did to our streets.
All
Remember,
streets, yeah.
he came out in Philly and Philly booed him so bad. He came out in the middle of somebody's round. So I don't. I hope that they don't have that in their plans. I don't even think they need it. I think that they're talented enough to have it. I think they got it going.
My bad. Hold on here.
Oh, you good?
My bad. My bad. So let's go ahead before he comes back though. Danny Myers and Miss Hustle versus Jerry West and Lou Castro. Sister, the floor is yours, man.
So when this was first announced, I ain't gonna lie, my face was kind of like it was a little frowned up.
All right.
Um, of course, mainly because I was already committed to Hustle and Shug.
Right.
So it's like Hustle and Danny. It makes sense the more you think about it. High energy, both of them super high energy, both of them performers. Bars, it's still ridiculous, so they can definitely feed off of each other in that regard. Um, I just think the distance. I'm be more worried about chemistry and things like that. You know what I'm saying? To me, the
Prep
people
time, right?
who
Prepping, right?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I think chemistry is important. That being said, Lou and Jerry West, I like that two on two. I like them together. We still talking about performance. We still talking about energy. We talking about creativity. Jerry West is super
Creativity.
creative to me.
Yes.
He's
And listen,
very
let's
creative.
not sleep on Lou Castro does skits all the time. Both these
Yes,
brothers do skits all the time. So the
very
creative,
yes.
like you said, the creative process between Lou and Jerry West is gonna be phenomenal. I got that
You
over um Danny Myers and Miss Hustle though.
you got them winning.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not mad at that. I think this is going to be like a sleeper battle, right? No, it's not really getting a lot of attention based on the other matchups, but it has the potential to come through and knock a lot of the other ones off the chopping block. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't think Hustle wants to team up with Danny Myers. I know EFB. Listen, I understand EFB, the boss. I'm just telling you, homegirl, I don't believe Hustle wants to team with Danny Myers. I think she wants to be next to Calico and Shug in them. That's what she wants. Now,
Oh,
let me ask you another
absolutely.
question. What do you feel about Calico saying that he didn't want to take the battle because he didn't want to go against a female and say nasty things to a female?
Cap, cap. I'm just saying, man, miss me with all of that. You know what I'm saying? Miss me with all that. You talking about you didn't want to get up there and say disrespectful. Listen, I believe in keeping it. Listen, you know me, three. You
All right.
asked me the question, so
Yes,
you
yeah.
finna get the raw answer.
Right. Oh,
Ain't no way
oh,
you telling me you don't want to get on stage and say the disrespectful things to a female face, but you don't mind tweeting it or saying it in a space where the person is not standing right there in front of you. You got to make it make sense. Cal ain't known for being no gentleman. Where it's like, oh, we could see it. You not Saga or Street Hymns. You will be just fine getting up there. Stop ducking and get up there and get that work. That's cap. I'm not letting that slide, man. Miss me with it. No,
Now
cap.
you talk about Calico not wanting to battle a lady.
That's
Yeah,
cap.
no, I ain't gonna lie.
Hustle deserves that matchup. She should be mad. I don't think it's about Danny. I think it's about what it was supposed to be. I don't think it has anything to do with Danny, but I think she has every right to feel away. It's cap.
Lang.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that Calico was really wild. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that out of all the ladies this year, Miss Hustle's most definitely the most deserving to have that encounter. When you really think about it, man, like one, it's a 2-on-2, so it's not. So like even if you wanted to take that gentleman route or whatever, it's a playful battle. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean,
Or
granted, you
just
guys gonna
address
take
Shug, right? Or just address Shug.
exactly, or if you're gonna have a bar, just make it like lyrical. You don't have to make it
Uh-oh, Lang.
Get the
just like
Wi-Fi password from your neighbors, Lane. Get the Wi-Fi password.
one second.
You good, you good.
But no, I agree with what I think Lang was saying. You don't have to be super disrespectful. If the way Calico skates on stage, like you know what I'm saying, he is a wizard. Show us your true wizardry and show us how you can still be a better lyricist and outright a female if that's what you feel like you can do without all of the sex bars or the extra disrespect. You can do that. You can battle a female without all of that.
You got a
So
point.
show us your true wizardry, or you just kept it.
Lang, I was telling the boss, so let me get your take on this. I personally feel Miss Hustle doesn't want to team up with Danny Myers. Nothing personal. I just feel she doesn't want to team up. Listen, I know she got him as avatar. That's cute, Hustle. You in the picture. I get all that, sister, but I'm just not buying that.
No, I ain't gonna lie. Like I think I don't. It's not again. I don't think it's nothing against Danny either. I just think that she had like a hard set on bat like with Shug though, because her and Shug make the most sense when you talk about like just how they both battle, both being some high quality performers. You know what I'm saying? Both have like that high like aggressive energy and stuff like that. I just think like she had her like heart set on having him as a partner.
Even proximity wise, you got New
Yeah,
Jersey and New York versus West Coast and East Coast. Proximity wise, it makes sense that they'll be able to meet up and actually rehearse and things like that to make it more cohesive as a team.
yeah. So
Who you like though, Lang? Who you got?
no, I ain't gonna lie. Man.
Let's see. So Lou has teamed up with Shine, right? Who else he teamed up with?
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna
Yeah.
front. I ain't gonna front. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I do think that like that whole debacle kind of threw them off. So I low key got Lou and Jerry. Like I low key got Lou and Jerry just because I feel like they're both high entertainers, and on top of that, I think that honestly, I think Jerry and Lou are gonna like they're I think their styles are kind of like gonna complement one another. They're both
Mhm.
like I think Jerry West is an underrated performer. You know what I'm saying? They both kind of have like the same way of setting up their bars to a degree or whatever. And on top of that, like I feel like it's gonna be a situation where like all right, Jerry, you wild out on me. Now I'm gonna get my ISO. I'm about to go crazy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, I think the trajectory of Luke Castro this year, you know what I'm saying, with his recent performance
Saga.
against Saga, even though it's a one rounder, you know what I'm saying? It shows that like he's getting back into the swing of things or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And usually 2-on-2s, if one thing about 2-on-2s, it's either going to be a situation where like you have fun, you get that hunger back, or the
Okay.
situation where like you gain your traction. I remember someone asked like not too long ago, can someone stock rise in the 2-on-2? I said no, but what they can do is have the crowd back on their side. I remember Math
Right.
Hoffa, you know what I'm saying, with Cortez
Cortez.
2016,
Yeah.
the Millie Rock situation or whatever. Even if you want to say like he didn't do good after that battle because he had T-Top, but even still, like the crowd was still like
Hey,
engaged with Math Hoffa and wanted to see him perform again. I feel like people are going to use that as an opportunity to kind of like showcase why they're of the upper echelon. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that Hustle and Danny Styles mesh well together. I think outside of
Okay,
them
and
both
I
being kind of
do.
punch heavy.
They both
I don't
loud,
know.
both high
Go ahead, bro.
energy, both everything you said about Lou and Castro, Lou and Jerry West, my bad, exists for them. And additionally, Lou, you talking about his battle with Saga, which was good, and it was good to see Lou do well. But Lou has a propensity to choke, and neither one of them are. In my correct me if I'm wrong, but Lou or Jerry West aren't like prolific freestylers or rebuttalers to where if somebody get caught up that they're able to maneuver their way out of that.
I think
Whereas,
Jerry more than Lou, right? I think Jerry more than Lou,
huh?
right? Jerry more than Lou could probably go in that bag. I would
But
say.
at the same
Right,
time,
I
no.
agree with that.
One thing I will say though is like I feel like with Danny, right? I feel like with the freestyling, that may buy him a round. That's not gonna buy him the whole battle though.
No. I'm saying if one of them chokes, and
Right.
Lou has a high choke record over the last 18 months. We just keeping it
Yeah.
above.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I'm going with Hustle and Danny. I'm interested to see how they fuse together and how they come over the time zone difference and everything like that to make their team work. So I'm interested to see it, but their skill sets don't give me any reason to doubt them. Their individual skill sets don't give me a reason to doubt them.
But at the
Alicia, what
same
is shot?
time,
Go ahead.
Lou Castro and Real Sick look really good on that stage, and they had short time prep. So I
Mhm.
get you because the pat if you combine like this year and last year, yeah, like his CPR rating is not hasn't been that good. But like for what I've seen this year, Lou Castro been on the right track. And then again, I think Jerry West is building off of in my opinion, his win off of, with Foots.
What?
And I
Mhm.
think that like you know what I'm saying, like I said, Lou Castro getting his style back, and I think they just mesh together. I don't know. It's crazy because I never thought of them being a 2-on-2. And you got to think they're both from New York. They're
Yes,
both from New
yes,
York.
yes,
So
yes.
that's the thing I'm about to
Queens,
say.
Brooklyn, Queens, Brooklyn, yeah.
Yeah,
Bronx, Brooklyn. Pardon me.
Bronx and Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think that's going to be a good battle. I just wonder how I wouldn't say engaged, but I just wonder like how up for the battle Miss Hustle's going to be, even with her partner being like Danny and not Shug.
She don't
That's
care. That's what I'm saying. We're not doing that. Miss Hustle, whoever her opponent is, whoever her partner is, one thing about it, she's always going to show up and she's always going to do her job. It doesn't matter. She hasn't given us any reason to think otherwise. Fight a battle where she didn't. So
Let me ask you one quick
I have
question.
no reason to doubt her.
Would it shock you at all if Danny and Hustle go take a round off where they just run by themselves? Like Hustle in the third round, she takes up the majority of the third round. They go
So the
solo.
thing about that is like
I hate it.
I think back in the day you could get away with that, but
Not
now I
anymore.
don't think n- nah because I think because a lot of people say like well that's at that point it doesn't become a 2-on-2, and my thing is like
Right.
it's one thing if you do like a
We've seen
segment.
Charlie Clips do that. We've seen Clips
But
do this
that's the no,
before.
no, no. It
I
worked the
hated it.
first time. But I'm saying it worked the first
Hate it.
time. It didn't work the second time. The
Right.
first time that was when he was on the hot seat. People say he wasn't taking battle seriously, and then when he had that like that whole situation, like that whole first off, and that's the thing too. If you're gonna do an ISO, it has to be about a topic that we actually care about. It can't just
Okay.
be random bars. Like when Clips did the ISO against Shug and Arts, and Surf was in jail at that moment, it made sense to do the ISO because he had a topic to talk about. He kind of had personals in there or whatever. But like in this situation, it's like the only way ISO works is if Hustle talks like has like a whole like 16 about Cal. Then I'm all ears for it. You know what I'm saying? I
I
ain't gonna
will be
I'm
I'm
all
not
ears
surprised
for
if
it.
though.
she's in that bag though.
I'm about to say if she has a 16 for Cal and then gets back into like the 2-on-2 situation, that's cool.
I like
But you
that though.
can't
I
like
like
have the
that.
whole round dedicated to like, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like
Oh,
you
okay.
can't
I'm
do
about to
that.
say if you saying a little
No, no, no,
16,
like a
then okay.
16,
Yeah.
like I remember like Geechee did the whole if I had hit behind a tree that night,
Tree.
he would have died. Like that whole
Right,
like
right, right,
8, 10 like if she does something like that, that's fine. I'm saying that
right.
like if you're gonna do ISO, it has to be about a particular topic and it also has to be like something we actually care about. And you gotta get
And
back
it
into
has
the two
to
on
be for
two.
a short time. I don't want them to
Yeah.
do a full round. I don't like that. Like the whole purpose in
Nah.
a 2-on-2 to me is the back and forth.
Four. Right.
So you know what I'm saying? If you don't have that back and forth, I don't like it. I hope they don't do that for an entire round. I wouldn't be mad at a segment of a round, but an entire round of just Hustle or just Danny, miss me with that because there's no. Do they have a backstory with Jerry or Lou that would constitute an entire round ISO? It doesn't exist, so it would seem forced and low key lazy to me.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. I like that. All right. Allen Fonz, T Top, and Swamp. The boss, talk to me. Why you get like the most?
Nah,
I'm
I'll about to say,
Man,
I'll
listen,
start. I
Av
think,
is like, okay, I love Av and I love Swamp, right? So I hate that it has to be them on opposite sides of each other. Um, and, of course, shout out to Fonz and New Midwest. Let's go. And then, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so and then we got T Top, which who been back in his bag this year, and I'm
yeah.
so happy to see
me
T
too.
Top back. Super happy to see
I
that,
was
right?
worried.
But
I was worried for a little bit, but go ahead. I was worried a
yeah,
little bit. But go
no.
ahead.
T Top been back in his bag, and I'm geeked to see that. But man, yeah, Fonz and Av, I mean, it only makes sense, right? Like we not doing that. We talking about it's a punch fest. I just hate that they get paired up together, but I just don't see I don't like Swamp and Top together. I just don't. I may see them together and it may be completely different. Like they may be able to have a little
So
swag off
hold
of
on.
each other
You're
and a
not
little
buying
cool.
this Carolina connection. They battled already. They were nemesis, and now they connected together. You're not buying that
Well,
story.
no. I buy it because remember, because we're hardcore fans here. Remember
Yeah.
when they did the Crucible, they were judges together.
Hmm.
Like, remember,
Hmm.
so they was already kind of like they like. So the thing is, like, they had that coalition for real. Like, they probably made amends behind the scenes, but obviously there was still a battle they was going to get a check for. So obviously, you know what I'm saying, there was still friction there to where they can battle, but not to the point where it was when you
Right.
interviewed Swamp with Briz and T Top a while back. So it wasn't that type of energy. But I can see them doing a 2-on-2 now because it's like they already got whatever they need to get off their chest or whatever, and they're already cool. But yeah, no, to the boss point. Having Fonz clear.
I did not like
I
T
only
Top and Twerk. I'm gonna be. I didn't like that. I didn't like that either.
and then not even that. It's just like what Avin Fonz was able to do against like anybody else that would have went against Lou Castro and Shine that night probably would have got out of here.
Right,
Like they
right, right,
probably
right.
got out of here. And then I think Avin Fonz not only matched them, but you got to think they wasn't even that performance heavy. It was straight bars. Like how do
Yeah.
you match? How did you match them with straight bars? You know what I'm saying? Like and then like they're and then on top of that, this is gonna be like the I think this is like going to be the biggest stage Avin's battle on in a while. So he's gonna be amped up for the battle. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that like him and Fonz's chemistry is just super crazy. You know what I'm saying? And my thing about performances is right. I think that like it can lend you a moment or two, but when you're punching somebody's head off every line, every bar, you can't
Every
like you
line.
just can't like I remember I was watching like Shine and Lou go first. I'm like, oh, Av and them in trouble. But then by the 3/4 of the round, I'm like, oh yeah, they won this round. Cause like it's just every line was just back to back, like landing
So
like efficiently. Like
It's
I
not
don't
just
know.
every line. They punch completely differently. You get
Exactly.
gut punched in your stomach and you bending over and then Av come through and uppercut you.
and the
Yeah.
It's
left foot
just
don't
like
get
you
you.
Yeah.
can't
It
catch
won't
it
win.
right. You
Yeah.
can't catch it. Like it is
And then they're
unfair.
big,
It
and
is
then they're
unfair.
big guys too. So like even if they're not gonna be performance heavy, they're gonna hover over you. They're gonna
Right.
be all up in your space. It's just like it's a
So, so
like
Lang of the
yeah,
Boss, let me ask y'all a question. What about the entertainment aspect of T Top and Swamp? They have that over Av
right,
and Fonz.
right.
Are we giving
Well,
any
Yeah,
credence behind the entertainment aspect of a Swamp and T Top being funny, jovial, comical?
the punches is too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't have them getting 30'd or
Right,
bodied
right.
at
right.
all. But I do got Fonz and Av 2-1 clear, right? So it's like I definitely think they're going to be entertaining and they definitely gonna make us laugh. But it's just the punches are so heavy and
Yeah.
so fast and just nonstop. And it's like,
And we've seen them already
oh, it's
together, so it's like,
relentless.
you know,
But the interesting thing is I think France mentioned this though. It's
right.
like
That's
Swamp
right.
beat Fonz in the tournament. T Top beat
And
Av
Nitty,
back in
he
the
be
day.
oh,
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
and then T Top beat Av back in the day on
Swamp be
Summer
fine.
Madness 6 or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
don't remember T-Top being there.
it's a close. I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna say it's close. It's closer on camera for sure. For sure. I like Av's first round. I like Av's third. Actually, I think I might have actually gave Av the third in that battle.
Av
But
got a third.
nonetheless, like Adrenal Consistence winning. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Av and Fonz are gonna be even more motivated because it's like shit. They beat us before. I ain't gonna let it rock again. So I
Facts.
don't know. I think Av and Fonz win this battle clearly. Clearly. So I don't know.
All right. Next one, y'all. The weird match to me, y'all. Hollow the Don and Calico, and Shotgun Shug and O-Red.
Now, before we go, no O-Red slander, please. Like, relax. Like, I know how y'all get down on O-Red. Relax.
Can
I
we
know,
I will.
like,
clarify the word slander? I don't think it'd be
Not,
slander,
not, not,
man.
not, 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 not. I ain't gonna front. Three teetered that line a little bit, just a tad, just a tad. So. I'm gonna get the negatives out the way. Here's the
All right,
thing.
all
Here's
right.
the thing, right? Obviously, O-Red is gonna be the odd one out. One, because he's never done a 2-on-2 before, and two, his proficiency on a big stage is always gonna be in question.
Voice,
That's
voice.
just
Get
a
to
Look
the
at
get
us, both
to
of us losing voice. Both of
You know
us.
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's gonna be the thing. But I do think that Ored understands the situation, and
Okay.
I don't think he's gonna be bad. Now, it may not be enough for him to beat Calico and Hollow because anybody that knows Calico and Hollow, they're like been tight for 10 plus years. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how that's gonna translate into like an actual performance.
I'm worried about what you just said right there. As good
Right.
as Hollow and Calico are
Yeah.
on one, I still think it's kind of a weird matchup, y'all.
agreed.
But
Agreed.
I will say that I do think that Hollow's creative enough to understand how we can incorporate Calico style into a 2-on-2 format. Because I feel like the looks that you got in that 2-on-2, I feel like
I
Hollow
think
was the
there's
one
gonna
that
be
was like,
clinch moments in this battle.
it may
Hmm?
be, it may
Clinch
be,
moments in this battle, the
Oh
boss.
yeah, for sure, for
it
sure.
may
And I
be.
think I also don't I didn't like Murderland. I don't care what nobody said. That was a tragic
I
2-on-2.
don't like it either.
So
Yeah.
I haven't seen Calico effectively execute a 2-on-2 yet. Him and Mook had two battles together. I hated them both. Hated them both. So I don't think Calico. Everybody can't do a 2-on-2, and I think that's okay. That doesn't mean anything. You know, it's just everybody don't work well with others. I don't know if Calico's style. Or even his personality adheres to a 2-on-2, or maybe it has to be somebody like maybe like a him and Easy or
Or
something like
clean,
that.
clean.
Yeah, maybe you know what I'm saying, something along those lines. It's definitely a weird matchup to me. I'm not looking forward to seeing how it kind of turns out, but I'm intrigued to see what the final product looks like.
Did
Hollow
y'all want?
already
Hold on. Did y'all want to see
unorthodox.
Sugar Hollow on 2-on-2 before 1-on-1?
That
You want to see Wait, you talking about Calico and
No,
Hollow?
Sugar
no,
Hollow.
Shug and
Sugar
Hollow.
Hollow, sister.
Yeah.
Mm.
It waters
I ain't
down
gonna
the
lie, I'd rather
matchup.
see Hollow and Av than Shug and Hollow.
That's true.
I'd
Talk to
rather
me.
But
see
but
Hollow and Av.
But I will say that the reason why this is like even though we're saying it like O-Red is in a precarious situation, it's still an interesting matchup because it's like in my opinion, Sugar's like the best performer out of all everybody on that stage. Like he's gonna be the best performer, so he obviously knows what's gonna shake the room. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then truthfully, if O-Red can just do all the setups and then Suge land all the punches with the performance, then they can get away with it. You know what I'm saying? T-Rex was they can
I
get away
got
with
Sugar
it.
on red.
But they ain't
But
gonna get away
but
with it.
I'm about to say, but I don't know because at the same time, again, I feel like when we got Hollow and Lux, I feel like that create all that creative stuff that they came up with. Hollow was like, okay, this is what we can do. Lux, all you have to do is strip back your lyricism a little bit. We can add this in it. I guarantee you that whole robot Lux situation came from Hollow. Like that screams Hollow. So I think Hollow is creative enough to know what's gonna work for Calico on that stage. But at the same time, like I don't know, Calico is a little bit stubborn. So like
Are they
if
gonna
he
take the
wants to
battle
spit,
serious? Are they gonna laugh and joke around? And it's gonna be
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
This
I
is
don't
my
know.
least favorite battle of all the battles. I don't. If I still haven't picked a winner for this battle
I
yet.
got
So
Sugar
if
on
I,
red, boss.
huh?
I got Sugar on red.
You see here?
On the strength of
I
Sugar.
got Hollow and Cal just because I
Yeah,
feel like Hollow is
I'm
super
leaning towards
creative.
Hollow and Cal. I mean,
Yeah,
I think I would give them like I always try to like go through the attributes in my mind, right? So it's like if I really want to say I got Hollow and Suge winning, if I'm being honest.
that's crazy.
That's who I really got winning. I got Hollow winning and I got Suge winning. But you know, to pick a team, I think I'm also edging Hollow and Calico. I don't think it's gonna be a good battle. And I think Suge is going to do well. He's gonna perform, he's gonna bring the energy and he's gonna bring the punches and everything. I think O-Red is gonna be good for a round. I
No.
think he's gonna be really good for a round. I think he's gonna lose his voice. I think he's gonna have a couple stumble moments. I don't know. I'm edging Hollow and Cal in a battle that I'll
Any keys
probably
from Sugar
sleep
and Old
through.
Red being they from Jersey, easy prep to get together and prep. They know each other for years. Can I go in that
That's why
backyard?
that's why I say it's gonna be interesting because because like I do think that like they're obviously gonna have like better prep. You know what I'm saying? They're always
Right.
gonna and then like in O-Red and Shug, they've been behind each other's battles since how long or whatever. They kind of know each other's rap styles. They kind of know what works for them and stuff like that. So there's cohesion there. So
Right.
that's not the issue. The issue is like how is O-Red going to be able to perform on a stage of that magnitude, right? And against like a Hollow that is super creative. That can I like I said, I got Hollow and Cal just because I feel like Hollow is creative enough to know what's gonna work on that stage and kind of mold Calico style to kind of fit their 2-on-2 format. You know what I'm saying?
I
And they're
don't
really
know.
cool. So I feel like the only person that would listen to like that Cal would listen to in terms of like maybe you shouldn't say this, maybe you should like it's either a Mook or it's a Hollow because those are the two people he respect. You know what I'm saying? So I
Well,
don't
if he
know.
was listening to Mook, whatever advice Mook gave was trash. But in any
Oh
case,
man,
Suge uploaded a video of him and O-Red like rehearsing
on the
on
street.
like a
Yep.
street corner or
Yeah.
outside or whatever. And I checked it out. It didn't excite me. I ain't gonna cap. Like Suge looked like he
Oh
was
my god,
Sugging, but O-Red looked like he was O-Red. So I'm just like,
that's crazy.
Let me throw a curveball at y'all. Should Shug have hollered at J400 because that's his man also instead of O-Red? Y'all
nah.
hit with that?
I think J400 would have came out of left field. I actually think that J400 is nice. I'm not sure why he hasn't been able to jump over to the next, but he's nice to me though. But I don't. I think J400 and Gnome Impact would have came out of. It would have seemed a little out of left field to me. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Sugar
hasn't
hard.
even been on like a main anything really for URL yet, so that would have seemed a little bit more left fieldish. O Red makes the most sense if him and Twerk
But I
wasn't
think
gonna come back.
us hardcore battle rap fans would have been like,
Sugar and ours.
we'd have been like, well, damn, Sugar Arse? Okay.
Sugar and ours. Yep.
All right, all right, all right,
Sugar North.
all right. I'm with you on that.
Sugar North.
I'm
Yep.
with you on that.
Sugar North. Sugar North. Why did it must be. It's the reason why I wasn't Suge North, though. It's got to be a reason because that was right there.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They all
it's a
battled
reason.
before. Like, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead, y'all. Main event time. Geechee and Rock, Nitty and Twerk. Boss, talk to me.
Man, EFG in the building, man. Big EFG energy. Nah, but let me keep it above. This absolutely is amazing on paper, and I think it's going to actualize as equally as amazing. You know what I'm saying? Twerk been in a bag. Like he hasn't been playing at all, and I think it's for sure going to continue. Nitty is nitty. You know what I'm saying? We expect nothing but the greatness that he's continued to deliver. So, um, Geechee has had a couple different 2-on-2 partners as well. Him and B Dot were phenomenal together. Him and Swamp phenomenal together. So you know what I'm saying? Geechee is another person. He's such a skilled and phenomenal all around battler that I really feel like he can mesh well with anybody. And Rock is battle rap personified. So you know what I'm saying? And they have a nice friendship and rapport as well. So I think that it's main event and it's giving all the main event vibes that it needs to give. But that being said, EFG 2-1, man.
Would it shock you if this is not Battle of the Night?
It would. You look at all those names on there. You'd be hard pressed to find another star-studded like main event. With this to stake. Yeah, so it would shock me. I'm actually going like gun orthodox. I ain't gonna lie. Like it's like it's so like the same way that we said about like Av and Fonz, right? So picture that, but with like a Twerk-esque performance aspect, right? And
Mhm.
then on top of that, like how they're both witty and creative or whatever, and how they can string like together haymakers back to back to back. I think the thing is like Rock and Geechee, they can talk to their opponent, right? They're super rugged or whatever. Like they can talk to their opponent and stuff like that. I feel like Twerk and Nitty just exemplifies
Explosiveness.
like explosiveness, haymakers, like being able. And then my thing is like right,
Rock and Geechee already beat Twerk and Nitty, but
but the
I
dynamic.
mean,
Wait,
I'm
wait,
just
wait, wait, wait.
saying.
Time out. I didn't have Tay Rock beating Eddie, but that's another story. Anyway,
Did you have him
anyway,
beating Twerk?
you said what?
Did you have him beating Twerk?
I didn't have Tay Rock beating Twerk either.
You wildin'.
You did?
What round? That's okay. We gonna get into that.
All
We
right,
go.
we'll get
But
into that.
all I'm gonna say is I feel like you look at like how equally creative Nitty and Twerk are, and then their ability to string together haymakers and stuff like that. Twerk taking everything serious at this point, and then Nitty reigning champion of the year. You know what I'm saying? And they really respect each other, and their styles like really coalesce with one another. They're like of the same essence to a degree in terms of like how they structure some of their lines, how like I don't know. It's hard for me to not choose Twerk and Rock. I mean,
I'm not
Twerk
mad
and
at that.
Nitty.
I'm
You know
not
what
Regardless,
I'm
mad.
saying?
I don't have it
regardless,
2-1 clear. I have it 2-1 debatable. Like it's gonna be a close battle. If I expect everybody to come at 1,000, but I got to pick a winner. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going with Big EFG, man, for
so
sure. I
y'all
just
not
think
worried about distance, radiance here. We talking about twerk
No,
and
and then another thing
like
about it, but another thing about it though is like and we're already rental records saying that like as soon as it got announced, they were already cooking up, and then on top of that, it's like again
it's the
like
same distance for both of them though. Geechee East Coast. I mean, I'm sorry,
right
Geechee West Coast and Rum Nitty, and
Maryland, you know
then
what I'm saying?
Rock
Yeah,
and Twerk over here. So it's the same for
yeah.
both of them.
Yeah, and another thing is like I feel like Twerk is another person that's like had multiple 2-on-2 partners, and then Nitty low key has
Hmm.
too. Nitty has had
Hmm.
Ill Will, Nitty has had Jada Nightwing, Nitty has had Geechee, like
So has Rock. Rock has had
so. And
Surf. Rock
Rock
has
and Geechee
had
too.
Chess.
So
Rock has
so
had
yeah,
Easy.
yeah, for sure. But I feel like
Rock has
so
had
both
Lady
so
Caution.
all
that's
four all
There we
four
go.
of them. All four of them have experience with other
Yeah.
2-on-2 partners, so like there's not going to be any inexperience when it comes to like knowing how to do a 2-on-2. At
Hmm.
this point, it's just picking out what you think is going to like reign supreme. And I think that like those creative lines with the performance that Twerk brings, and then like Twerk is going, and I think it's going to be a situation where like Twerk and Nitty are still going to be competing like against each other in a 2-on-2 because it's like they respect each other so much to where like okay, you got that crazy line, I'm gonna do this crazy line here. Okay, you got this line right here, I'm gonna come back and do this line right here. I just think that like they have that much respect for each other that like every line they're trying to outdo one another and it's gonna make for like an incredible performance. But Geechee and Tay Rock, man, I think those are like that's not probably like the only two people you can like have to match them. Maybe Av and Fonz, but like that's the only those are the only like people I can see that can match like a Twerk and Nitty for a two
Fact.
on two. So
Fact.
I like
I
Nitty
agree.
and twerk. I like Nitty and twerk, man. I think the explosiveness of these two with the witty rhymes these two guys possess together, I think it's gonna be too much for Rock and Geechee, respectfully. I think they're
You
gonna be on
got it clear?
I think they're gonna be on their helmet, the boss. I think Nitty and Twerk is gonna be on Geechee and Rock's neck. For real, for real. Like I don't know. Listen, I'll be shocked if Geechee and T Rock win. Real talk.
You be shocked?
I will be
I
shocked.
don't know about Shock. I
I'll
don't
be
know about
shocked.
That's
Shock.
kind
I
of
don't know about Shock.
crazy.
I'm being
I don't
shocked.
know about Shock.
See, I think it's easy for us to say that because Geechee and Tay Rock, where they at in their career, two of my Rushmore, if you want to go in that bag, whatever. But I just believe in Twerk and Nitty, man.
I'm
Twerk
not
and
mad
Nitty,
at
man.
anybody that got twerking it because the that's a star-studded 2-on-2
Yeah, it is.
battle period. So
Yeah.
it's. I don't think it's clear though, but I definitely got big EFG man.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate taking your time to rock with me, man, for this no impact card, man. Are you guys gonna be in the building or no?
Facts.
This one, I know she's gonna be in the
I'm
building.
about to say I
Facts.
was gonna be in the building, but I'm actually going to the trenches card or this upcoming weekend or whatever. But I'm for sure pulling up at Summer Madness though, for
Salute
sure.
to the trenches card, man. Fro's getting 30. But
Oh
yeah, I'm gonna be in the
man.
building for Gnome Impact for sure, for sure. So yeah, it's gonna be a movie.
I want to get you guys here to talk about Summer Madness next time, all right?
Nah, for
Let's talk
sure.
about it.
All right. I appreciate y'all.
All right, bye, sweetie.
Peace and love.